All right, we're doing the Tampa Bay Lightning versus the Toronto Maple Leafs for the NHL 2023 Stanley Cup playoffs in the first round. The rematch from last year where the Tampa Bay Lightning took out the Toronto Maple Leafs to go to their third Stanley Cup final appearance, which is very impressive. You can't doubt what the Tampa Bay Lightning have done in the last 3 years is impressive. It is very impressive. I'm very impressed. I watch a lot of hockey. I listen to a lot of hockey content. I take in a lot. I'm trying to make some too, as you can see. So to me, I am very impressed with the Tampa Bay Lightning. But I'm starting to say this at the start of my videos, what I believe is going to happen. And I do believe the Tampa Bay Lightning will lose in 6 games. I did say that they will lose in 6 games. If it goes to 7, I believe the Tampa Bay Lightning might win. But I believe Toronto can get it done in 6. They have to. I just don't know if they can handle the pressure of another game 7 in Toronto. Mind you, Toronto has the home court advantage, right? So they have 2 games in. So it's 2 games in Toronto, and then it's 2 games in Tampa, and then it's 1 game in Toronto, 1 game in Tampa, and then 1 game in Toronto. The sixth game in Tampa, I think Toronto can win it. I think they have to, because I don't think they want to risk going to a game 7. And I believe that, and we'll go over it, right? We're going to go over the stats like we have in the last 7 videos. If you haven't seen any other videos, go check those out. I've done one for every series. This is my last one for the night. But I do believe the Tampa Bay Lightning will lose in Game 6 to the Toronto Maple Leafs, breaking that streak. So let's jump over to the Tampa Bay Lightning stats. 2 dynamic players. I mean, look at 113 points by Kucherov, one of the quietest 100-point seasons, 110-point seasons, right? Braden Point, almost a 100-point season for him, 95 and 82. Stamkos, 84 and 81 game. Oh, it's 50 goals from Brady Point. I mean, that's just impressive in my opinion. Braden Hagel somehow breaking out. I mean, that was a great trade from the Chicago Blackhawks. 64 points in 81 games. Alex Lauren always putting up. Sergachev as a great defenseman, putting up 64 points. Hedman, 49. I mean, I'm not saying that these guys have clearly put up a lot of points. It's crazy to me, and I'm going to explain why I believe this. So I want to go through these points. You can see great players. I mean, clearly they've won 2 Stanley Cups. They've been to 3 Stanley Cup finals in the last 3 years. So I'm not doubting that they are not skilled and that it won't be a hard-fought battle. I do believe we'll go to 6 or 7 games. There's no way it ends in a 4 or 5 games. It's going to go 6 or 7. I think for Toronto, it needs to go in 6, and it probably will go in 7, but I got to bet on 6. I got on my sheet. I wrote 6 on my sheet. I wrote 6 on my sheet right here. I wrote 6 on my Stanley Cup playoff sheet. So, let's go over the points again before we go over goaltending. And the reason I'm showing some doubt in the Tampa Bay Lightning, 99 points for Mitch Marner. Again, if he had played those 2 games, I bet he would have 100. Nylander, 40 goals, 87 points point per game. 40 goals for Matthews, 85 points, 34 games. Even higher points per game percentage than William Nylander. John Tavares, almost 40 goals, 36, 80 points, point per game player. It is a big drop off to Michael Bunting, but again, he isn't playing the lower minutes. He has been being punished because he takes too many penalties. Let me phrase, the refs don't call enough penalties on him, and it is an issue. So, but you're really looking at your top 4 getting the biggest scoring. You have Mitchie Marner, your Willie Nylander, your Austin Matthews, and your Johnny Tavares. And then that's your biggest points getters that you're looking for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and they have to come out and play. They have to put out the points because that was the issue in the last couple of years. And last year they did fine. It was more of a goaltending issue with Campbell. But now it is goaltending we're talking about. We're going down to the goaltending. Again, real quick pickups. Tampa Bay did pick up Tanner Jeannot right here. So they picked up Tanner Jeannot. He had 4 points in 20 games. He is out on injury. They spent a 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th round pick. Almost a whole draft class. Mind you, a whole draft is you get 7 picks. 1 through 7, that's your rounds. They gave up 5 of the 7 draft picks. That's almost a whole draft class for Tanner Jeannot, and he is out on injury. So, now Toronto did make some massive moves. They really are going all in, which is another reason I think that Toronto is going to be ones that come out on top on this. Riley, 11 points in 13 games, playing phenomenal. Sam Lafferty was another pickup. He has more depth, but 6 points in 19 games. Jake McCabe, 5 points in 21 games. Again, a good shutdown defenseman, but is playing very, very well. Great defensive metric. They did also pick up Eric Gustafson, but that was more of an add-on when they traded. They got a first and Eric Gustafson back when they traded out Rasmus Sandin because he was playing really low in the lineup, and there was run out of space for him. So, and they also picked up Luke Shen for a 3rd-round pick. He's your muscle, and then they also signed Matthew Nyes, who will be playing. He's got his first point in 3 games, so he's your college call-up. So. The main story has been Matt Murray playing surprisingly well for his contract. I know they traded for him from the Ottawa Senators. He got the 14 wins and 8 losses, a slightly above goal save percentage for an average goalie, right? The average goalie being getting point. Again, you've heard me say it in all my videos because goaltending is the key factor in the playoffs. So you want a .899 save percentage that is average. He is a .903, so slightly above average. But really, the main story is going to be who's going to be starting in game 1, and I believe it will be Samsonov because Murray currently is out on injury reserve. So you're going to have Elias Samsonov with Joseph Woll as your backup. Joseph Woll has played so well. He's had a great AHL season this year. He also up with the Toronto Maple Leafs, 6 wins, 1 loss, get a .932. He is great. He is the future goaltender, and if Samsonov wants to stick around as well, I think this would be a great 1-2 tandem, and 1A, 1B, playing so well at 2.16. That's very good, right? But you have Samsonov with the 27, 10, and 5, .919, great save percentage as well, 2.33. Goals against average. These are huge. 4 shutouts, right? And you can see right here, goals saved above average. From the average goalie, he's saving 17 more goals than normal, right? And than the average goalie. So that is telling you where he is playing more elite than other average goalies in the league, right? Now, mind you, if you're in the playoffs, you're not an average goalie, right? But this is the big determining factor is Samsonov and the goaltending. And again, I am putting doubt in the Tampa Bay Lightning of their goaltender, Andrei Vasilevskiy. Let's scroll down and let's show you. Andrei Vasilevskiy is playing well, but he is not a world beater right now. He is having a comparable year, .915 and a 2.65. So he's letting in more goals than Samsonov, 2.33, and Samsonov has a better save percentage of .915. I think the record, he definitely, now, Vasilevsky's played a lot more, 60 games, and Samsonov's only played 42. So I think he's tired. In my opinion, he's tired. He actually has a similar amount of shutouts. More goals saved above average because he has had more shots on him and played more games, right? And so, to me, adjusted goals against average. So that's his 2.67. I wonder what the 2.67, 2.35. So again, Samsonov still beats him. I was listening to the Steve Dangle podcast, and they were talking about, and Jesse Blake said that the Tampa Bay Lightning are washed. I don't think they're washed. He did go on to explain, and I agree with him. So this is how I see it. I see, okay, if you're looking at an average series, let's say it takes 6 games for a round, right? 6 games per round, and there's 4 rounds in a playoff, right? Where if you go to Stanley Cup Finals, you're playing on average 6 games per round, and you're playing it so that's 6, 6, 6, 6, right? So that's 4 rounds of 6 games. That's 24 games in 1 year of playoff series. Tampa Bay played last year. That's 24 games. The year before, that's 48 games. And the year before that, in the Stanley Cup Finals, that is 72 games. There's 82 games in a season. That means they've almost played, in the last 3 years, they played almost a whole extra year of hockey. I think they're tired. I think it's tough to sustain that. I wouldn't be. I mean, it's one of the reasons we're seeing the highs and lows. And the thing is, since February 1st, they have been a below 500 team. I'm jump over to main screen. Since February 1st, they've been a 500 or below 500 team. Since the trade deadline, they've been one of the worst teams in the NHL. I think that they're tired. I think it's tough on them. I'm not surprised. I am so happy for them because as a Red Wings fan, Steve Yzerman built the majority of that team. He left the year before they won their first Stanley Cup with them. And I'm so happy that he was able to build a contender. But again, I think they're tired. I think they're just tired. I know I'm tired. It's 12:49 for me right now. But I just think that they've burned a lot of rubber. They put a lot of miles in those tires. I think they deserve a rest. I think the Toronto Maple Leafs are the ones that are willing to give them a rest. I think the way that the Toronto Maple Leafs have played the season, the way they had their acquisitions, they've gone all in. I think they're betting on themselves, and I think it is a must win. And I think Toronto has got it. I think there's no reason that Toronto shouldn't win. I've been a very hot team, and I just don't see why you couldn't. I just don't see why you couldn't do it. And I'm throwing my heart over the bar for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and I wish them all the best. Tampa Bay Lightning, you have earned it. Your rest, you have earned it. You can go lie down and know that you did your work. You did everything you could. Just right now, I think it's time to put you out to pasture. So let me know what your thoughts are. Again, I'm doubling down on Toronto. I'm excited for them. I'm excited for them to get out of the second round. I'm excited to stop hearing about it because I don't really know this. If you listen to Steve Dangle podcast, they don't talk about it. They don't not talk about it. They say it's been since 2004. Yeah, we all know. So anyways, let me know what your thoughts are. Hit like, subscribe. Love you.